Hi, my name is Kat Stokes. This is my husband Larry, and we are very excited to be taping the Third and Longhorn podcast here at our Korman Jewel House.
Let's go.
When we initially met, we talked about how this partnership could be very organic because we've had a relationship with the university for years, and now that we're in Far West Campus at 29th and Lamar, we thought better time than now to kick this off, and so we hope this is the first of many. Our friends here.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Oh, yeah.
Some of the most beautiful jewelry I've seen, and I will not be touching anything. Okafor is sweating a little bit over there.
Why is he sweating?
His wife put on a necklace piece. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I think he should get it for her because he loves her so much.
Absolutely.
I'm just hoping we don't break anything today.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Third and Longhorn. And we always say it's a special episode, but this one's pretty dang special. We're in an amazing facility, building here, whatever you want to call it. The folks at Korman have had us out to host the show here. And this building, I mean, it's jaw-dropping.
Hand-built, Italian.
How do you know this already?
I literally was thinking, how does he know this?
I'm already, I'm linked in.
You LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I like that.
There we go. So the last time I was here, this was Freewheeling Bicycles. We're at 29th and Lamar in Austin, Texas. And it does not look like Freewheeling Bicycles anymore. And they have just done an amazing job. You guys can kind of see it in the background. But Kat and Larry, who you just heard from, have done an amazing job with this place. And we're really excited to be here. And we thought, what better place to do our season preview than right here, right now. So I think there's going to be, we've kicked around some things, and on our tour we talked a little bit about this season, and I would say there was a little bit of discourse, especially between Hills and Oak. And
he said Florida.
I did not say Florida.
We can run it back.
Save it for when we get there.
Please, let's
Run it back. He said Florida. He said Florida or OU.
He said there was a loss in there.
I said they split those games.
Sarge
I never said it was
said
going to be
there was a
Florida.
loss.
I actually think we're going to beat Florida, matter of fact. But let's get into it.
Okay, look, we'll get there. But
Drop OU?
Now you see what I'm talking about, Fozzy. Now you see what I'm saying,
Let's
Fozzy.
wait on it.
Now you see what I'm saying.
Because some context is needed. So let's wait till we get to the
I
game.
tend to agree with that. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna start out. We're just gonna go week by week. I think look, overall, the story of the season, everybody's already heard it. It's Arch Madness, Arch Mania, whatever it is.
Baby.
And I think that's going to have a big impact on the season. Obviously, I think it also has had a big impact on our preseason ranking. I think there are a lot of teams that could be ranked number one to start the season. But Hills, give us your thoughts on Arch Madness.
Wait, you really think there's a lot of teams that could be ranked number one to start the season?
I do.
I don't agree with that.
Give me five. Give me five.
I don't know if I can give you five.
Give me three.
I can give you Penn State.
You think Penn State could be ranked one?
I think
right
Penn
now?
State has a lot of guys back.
Okay.
That they could be.
Okay.
I think Ohio State's in the exact same boat as we are.
I don't believe that at all.
I mean,
They're replacing QB1.
I agree.
With a guy that's
but-
played no ball.
But do they have an argument to be number one just like we do?
If we,
They do.
I don't know.
They
I don't know.
do.
They bring
They
back three guys.
absolutely
They bring
do.
back three guys on defense.
Well, here's the thing. Whoever Ohio State plays this season, they're going to have the best player on offense and the best player on defense. So they absolutely have a case.
Talking
to
about
be
Jeremiah
number
Smith
one.
and Caleb Downs.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, now you got Caleb Downs and who else?
You just said his name, Jeremiah.
No,
Smith.
I'm talking about on defense. On defense.
Look, the question is, do they have the case? Do they have the case to be number one? Jay loves changing the argument.
Sonny Styles can ball.
Sonny Styles is a good linebacker.
He can ball.
Linebacker in the country, too.
For sure. I'll give you that. Yeah, Rod. Good way to save
Look,
him.
I
Way to save him,
think
Rod.
I think Clemson has a big argument, right? Like they got a lot of
that's a
guys
good
back
one.
on a team.
That's
Yeah.
actually a really
Clemson
good
is
pick.
good.
I like Clemson.
Oh, there we go. See, you're
Hey.
Hey, Nick, what is that? 4 teams now?
It's because you didn't say it.
Is that 4 teams?
Stop feeding Nick information here on the side. Yeah, he got an earpiece in. He ain't telling him.
Come on,
I wish,
Higgs.
man. It'd make this way easier. All right. But anyway, and I think, look, we're all going into the season expecting a lot from, obviously, I think Arch has a lot of expectations on him, but the key to this season is going to be our defense.
Agreed.
And I'm going to kick it over to Rod. Rod, give us your thoughts on this defense and what you're expecting.
You have an All-American at every level of the defense, right? You have Colin Simmons on the D-line. At the linebacking core, you may have the best pass-rushing linebacker in the country in Anthony Hill. Michael Taft is in the secondary as an All-American candidate. And also, I think Malik Muhammad should also be in at least an All-SEC conversation this year. The truth is, is lining up, and right now it projects to be one of the best defenses Texas had in the last 3 decades.
Wow.
Now
That's saying a lot.
it is saying a lot because you were a part of a lot of those great defenses, so was you, and so was I.
I didn't say that.
I don't know if DJ liked that too much.
He took some offense to it.
But I will say, I think that's why Sark early on in the season, and a lot of Longhorn fans may not want to hear this, he may lean on that defense a little bit early on, especially in those big games against Ohio State, against Florida early on, until the offense starts to find its identity and find its groove with a young O-line. Well, not young, inexperienced O-line in terms of the continuity together. Sometimes that's difficult to get initially right out of the gate to start the season. So until they find their continuity and chemistry, I would expect him to lean on the defense and lean on your special teams, which should be a strength and honestly should be an advantage for Texas no matter what matchup they're going into this season.
So true. I'll add to that when you talk about the defense. To have a really good defense, you got to have depth, and we got the best depth in the National College League. When you talk about from the linebacker standpoint, you got Anthony Hill and you got Leonga, right? It's because most of it is not base defense; it's nickel defense. So you got Leonga and Anthony Hill, but behind them you got Trey Moore and you got Smith, Ty Anthony Smith. So you got 2 guys that can really play. That's played a lot of ball. And then when you get to the defensive line, I mean, from the edge spot, I mean, from Ethan Burke to Bosick is coming back, being able to have Colin Simmons doing his thing on the edge. Got a couple more guys, Terry. The young guy, I like to see him get off the bus first so they can see how good of a person he looks. But then in the back end, I mean, with Taff and those guys, Jelani McDonough, and just on every level, we got depth. When you got depth, because things are going to happen throughout the year, maybe injury here and there, hopefully not on us, but just being able to have enough guys to throw in there so you can mix it up with anybody, right? And you never know who's going to come out to be that star player. And it's going to be you're right when you say we're going to lean on our defense. We are going to lean on our defense. Not saying Sark is who he is. He's going to dial up the offense really well and have Arch going, but I would go a little safer early because our defense is they'll keep us in games.
Yeah, and just to go ahead and bring it home, it seems like the common thing between the two of y'all speaking on the defense was there's impact players at all 3 levels. Yep. You look at the DBs, you got our signal caller, you got Michael Taft back there, you got Gilbo looking for a breakout season, you got the lockdown corner, Malik Muhammad. Then you get to the linebackers, like Rod said, you got the best pass rushing linebacker within Anthony Hill, and you got Leonga Lafau ready to make an impact this season being a full-time starter. Then you get to the D-line, and this is where I really get excited because now you can start throwing out your different looks, your NASCAR packages, and when you look at the body types on that D-line, you see Anthony Hill who can come off the edge. You see Trey Moore who's been cross-training at linebacker so he can rush from a 2-point stance. You see Ethan Burke who could line up across whether you want him at 3-tech, whether you want him over the nose, I hope he gets some more interior rushes so he can present those mismatch problems up front. We have so much versatility on this defense that it is going to be scary. And I'm going to pass the mic to our offensive guys, but kind of like our defense.
Offensive guys.
But kind of like we said, I'm hoping that Sark comes into this season leaning on the defense a little bit. Yeah. Let's establish this run game early. We were depleted in the running back room last year. Yeah. Now we got all our bodies back. Let's lean on them a little bit and lean on this defense, and let's use that to be the engine heading into this season.
I don't think anything different than what y'all are saying. Like, I mean, honestly, when you think about championship runs, you think about like who's the most healthy. Yeah. Like healthy teams are the teams that win it all, right? And so then you think about that's where the depth comes in because now we can actually take some miles off of guys throughout the season because you got guys that can come in and then the production doesn't drop off. Then you think about like the rotation that you have at that defensive line spot, even with Trey Moore dropping, like you said, to a 2-point, and then Anthony Hill having the ability that he has to rush the passer. That's dang near like having 2 more rushers that can rotate, right? Yeah. And then you piggybacking off of what Oak just said, you bump Ethan Burke down. You bring Trey Moore off the edge. You blitz Anthony Hill. You let LaFau just sit right there, and now you got Colin Simmons coming as well. I don't think nobody wants to see that. No. What's that viral clip from that Oklahoma State quarterback that was shaking it? Like, nobody wants to see that. You know what I mean? So like when I think of like where it matters most in the trenches, and then I look at our defense and the ability that they have to disrupt the veteran leadership and like how much has Michael Taft seen at this point? Yeah. You think you're gonna fool him with concepts? You think you're gonna fool him? So if you got a guy that can be an eraser on that back end, right? You got a guy that can make everybody right on that back end, and then you can just let talent play. It starts to get really bad really fast. So if I know I have a defense like that, I can approach that two different ways. I can either say, oh, you stopped us, oh well, punt it. Go 90. Go 90 yards. I haven't seen it happen yet, right? Or I can say, you know what? I trust my defense. Let's go for it right here. And then, Sark kind of has that feel for what his team needs when he needs to. And I know the fans don't always like it. They're like, oh, we should go for it right there. Or we should punt right there. Whatever the case may be. But once you got that feel and you know what your team needs at certain points, and oh my gosh, this Texas team, I see why we are the preseason number one. Yeah. Because the potential is definitely there. Yeah. Now, at this point, I've said this before, we just need them to go out and play as them. We don't need them to do anything different. Just go out and play as them.
Well, y'all already beat a dead horse as far as the defense is concerned, so I'm sure your next question is going to be the preview of the offense. And I'll start there, right? There's no better best friend to an offense that needs to find consistency and continuity than having a good, solid defense, right? There are going to be times where Arch Manning gets sacked. There may be times he hangs on to the football. You got to remember, especially game one. Here's the thing. Matt Patricia does not have college film. So Sark don't know defensively what Ohio State truly wants to do, because you got to go back to whenever he was with the New England Patriots from an NFL level to understand what Ohio State is going to run, because it's going to look differently from last year. And we don't know what he does in college. So it's going to be a bit of an unknown, at least for week one. And that unknown takes time for it to develop. And that's how you look at it in training camp, right? We all been there. Defense usually kick the offense butt. Practice 1, practice 2.
Early,
Man,
early,
they know
true.
the signals. They know the signals.
No, that has nothing to do
it's
with
not
it.
that.
Everything that
What
you
it
know,
is.
like.
It's just because it's the beginning.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking about the beginning.
Real
I'm
quick.
just talking about the beginning.
Real quick, what it is the defenders be ready because the pads come on during OTAs. During
does that
training,
mean,
Well, not
sir?
OTAs, but during spring.
Sir, I need to know exactly
It
what
means
you mean by
you know
that.
exactly what that means. When the
You
pads
know
ain't
what
on,
it
everything
is.
looks sweet.
You know what
everything
it
look
is.
great. But as soon as the
I'm
pads
not agreeing
come
with
on,
that at all. That's not what I said.
Calling y'all 7
That's
on
not what
7
I
players.
said.
That's what he.
What I'm saying is it just takes a little bit longer because of the moving pieces. And we've talked about this on tour. You can have 10 guys on the offensive line and the receivers and the quarterback and the running back. You can have 10 guys do everything perfect. Not even just right. They can do it perfect. But you have that one guy that go the wrong way or mess up. It's a sack or it's a TFL. Conversely, on the defensive side of the ball, man, you can have 10 guys going the wrong way. Everybody could be facing the other side of the ball, and you got one guy doing the right thing, and that can end up in a sack for the defense. So that's going to happen early on in the season as the offense continues to build up that chemistry and continuity, replacing 4 starters on the offensive line, also trying to mix in the running back rotation. We don't know what that looks like. It's very strong. It's a strength for us, but how does that look? Is there expectations for Trey Reisner to get another 1,000-yard rushing season as the only returning SEC 1,000-yard rusher, right? Now you got 4 mouths to feed back there. But that plays back into the depth aspect, and why Texas is built to be a top-tier team is because of the way they can play off of each other, right? If offense needs help, guess who's going to come out and bail them out? Defense. If defense needs help, guess who's going to bail them out? Special teams. Special teams need help. Who's going to get them good field position? Offense, right? So it's all about the team game. And if you can have that type of continuity and consistency early on, the offense going to figure it out. Arch is aggressive. Ryan Wingo going to be catching 50, 60-yard passes the same way. Jack Endry's going to be running that 16-yard over route. Yep. He's going to be catching it. And then guess what? Trey Wisener, C.J. Baxter, Christian Clark, all of them, they're going to have screens and runs, misdirection galore, right? Defense don't know what keys to key off of. And I think that's what's going to help with the balance of where this team is, especially with it being defense dominant to begin the season with.
Two things. One, with the running back room specifically, I think that depth helps a ton because 100. We don't have to rush C.J. Baxter.
100.
We like I know, like as a running back, you got to see it over and over and over and over again. I got to see it on film. I got to see myself doing it on film, and I have to feel myself going through it, right? So he can get those reps that's needed without the pressure of us needing him to be the star that he is day one, right? Yeah. That's Trey Wisener and the rest of the Pack's production. Right. Then secondly, with the Matt Patricia comment, I 100% agree, but I want to ask you something. Ohio State has never run this either.
Very true.
And if I'm looking at the guys that are rolling out there to run it, this is the first time these guys have played together.
Very true.
They're missing 8 starters from this defense last year, right? So I'm asking Matt Patricia to install his complex system that's been wildly successful at the NFL level, so much successful that it got him a head coaching job, right?
Yep.
To now install that and then have guys that have never played together week one ready to run that defense at the level needed, because like I know, all it takes is one person to do the wrong thing, and that's 60 that way.
No question.
So these guys have to show up as a group ready to run that defense day one against an aggressive quarterback and a Sark-led offense that's on the attack.
Can I just say, I don't. That's why the logic suggests that they won't overhaul everything.
Of course.
And go to
Exactly. So what happens?
Completely to Matt Patricia. So it's going to be more of a compromise, right? A hybrid between what Jim Knowles ran last year and what Matt Patricia truly believes, right? What is his main philosophy defensively? And so he's going to probably marry the two.
So then I got a question
it'll
for
probably
you.
be the tent poles.
I got a question for all of you guys in
at
there.
least the foundation of what you had last year.
For my defensive guys, you guys have all played football at every single level. What happens when I got a DC that can install his stuff? What do y'all look like when y'all are trying to run that defense that is married between what we've been doing and what he wants to do? And then I'm doing it with all new guys.
I'll say for me, the thing that sticks out to me right off the bat is they're probably going to simplify a lot.
Yep.
If it doesn't look great during training camp, then you gotta rip it all down and let's keep it simple. We go in with maybe 10 play calls that you can run across the board and just be perfect at those 10 play calls. So, I mean, you got to allow your defenders to play fast, and that's probably what Ohio State's going to do. It's going to be a simplistic game plan so that they can play fast and run to the ball, which should benefit us offensively, especially our passing attack.
That's going to be most defenses.
That's most defenses, but I would assume they're not going to be able to disguise the coverages as well, which should feed into our game plan a lot.
I think our defense, though, is going to do the opposite against Ohio State because
agreed.
you have so much veteran experience at every level, impact players, as AO mentioned. You can get complex, you can get really exotic early on against a first-year starting quarterback in Julian Sand.
And offensive coordinator.
And offensive coordinator. Great point about that as well.
And PK has been there for a while, so we can roll it out. So it won't be as simple, but Matt Patricia, he's gonna go to what he knows though in crunch time. Like he's got to get to what he knows. I mean, he's gonna be simple, but eventually he's got to get to what he does best. And
well, I think that kind of we've already covered Ohio State. I think it's obviously a big deal because it's
Nick,
one,
that's all we want to talk about.
Yeah, seriously. No, we got a few other games this year though, so it is 1 versus 2, and I think it's the first time. It might be the first time ever that the number 1 team is not favored in the game, which I'm fascinated by. And I was listening to halftime of one of the games yesterday, and the guy was like, "Oh, Ohio State's going to win because Texas doesn't have the experience," and I was like, What experience does Ohio State have? Like, do your homework. But anyway, so we can
lazy reporting.
Exactly. So I think we can move on from that one. But I think this is the part of the year that I think for a lot of people seems like the easy part of the year. But I also think it's a fascinating part of the year because it's going to be super key because the thing that no one wants to talk about is the depth at the quarterback position, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's it. These are the games that hopefully we're going to be able to get some experience for, whether it's Matthew Caldwell, the Troy transfer, Trey Owens, KJ Lacey, whoever it ends up being at the 2. I think it's going to be a huge moment for that. So we've got this little span here that starts with San Jose State. Last time we played them, it was 56-0 win. That was 2017, so a little while ago. But I'm going to turn it over. We're just going to get, for each game, let's go one person. That way we don't, we don't. But if somebody's got like a dynamite drop in, we can obviously do it. But
I got one for game 3.
Okay, well then Hills, we'll go to you for game 2. San Jose State. What do you got? 11 a.m. kickoff. So we know what that means.
Man, if in some world not every single player in burnt orange catches the flu, then this game is over with by halftime.
Man, San Jose State's teeing up this tape right now.
Man, good.
I'm with Jay.
Tell him
listen what I'm telling you. Listen. If me saying that is what makes them raw and show up to the stadium ready to, no, it's gonna be
56-7 because of that.
Yeah, right. Like it's gonna be a long day for them. I hope they get a chance to enjoy Austin.
They can hit us up for restaurant recs.
Yeah. Come by Korman. Like, come enjoy Austin.
Use that NIL money, man. Come on, let's ride.
You got that NIL money? Come make a trip out of it. But yeah, that's game 3.
So What'd you say?
I do want to say bombshell for game 3.
Yeah, let's get to
3:15 kickoff.
Yeah.
There may or may not be one of your local Third and Longhorn podcasters in the booth for that game.
Yeah, calling the game.
You didn't hear that from
What game
me.
is that for?
So you can't.
You can't say much. Yeah.
I can't. I can. Malachi Nelson. That's a 5-star guy that transferred from Lincoln Riley, USC, went on, transferred to Boise State.
Yep.
Didn't necessarily do what he wanted to do there. Now he finds his way to UTEP. And they're trying to find resurgence, right? UTEP, I don't expect it to be any different than San Jose State. Wash and repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. I believe that's how Texas moves through UTEP. But it'll be another opportunity to see some of that young depth to be able to create the depth that Texas will need once you get to the end of the season and postseason to make a championship run.
I like that.
I know Malachi too. He's a great kid.
Yeah.
So good luck to him that week.
Oh yeah. You need a lot of it.
And they're coming off a 3-9 season, so they're definitely looking to rebuild. Then after that, we got the bye week. So these are this is such an interesting part of the season. Then comes another home game against Sam Houston State. Rod, you got anything? I watched a little bit of Sam Houston yesterday on the first game of the season.
Yeah, I did not.
You didn't watch Western Kentucky. You didn't watch Sam Houston, Western Kentucky.
Nick said to take notes.
I apologize.
Hills,
But I do know they'll be running.
I did too.
I do know with Phil Longo there now, they're going to be running an air raid offense. So the offense should be, and he actually has roots there because he was the offensive coordinator there, like in the mid 2010s. He was an offensive coordinator there. So they're really excited. I know their fan base is really excited about Longo being back in town, and he's going to bring that air raid offense with him. Was with Mac Brown for a little while there in North Carolina. That air raid offense. You don't like the air raid?
Listen,
They lost 55 players.
Hey.
they lost 55 players, and the air raid was not raiding yesterday. Now listen, and I want to give them their props. They played their butts off on defense. Yeah. They played Western Kentucky tough as long as they could, right? They broke off a long run, quarterback right up the middle, went for like 60. They got a lead. They were up at one point by 10 points, and then, it went away, and that was the end of the game. But get that defense all the credit in the world. They lost 55 players. They got the coordinator back who's now the head coach over there. But yeah, the air raid was not raid. Like there was.
Give it some time.
Well, I'll say this. We're joking about that 3-game stretch, but in all seriousness, with the young team, we got to take advantage of that 3-game stretch.
Absolutely.
Like that's the opportunity for us to experiment. That's the opportunity for us to get in our groove, get in our rhythm, have us firing at all cylinders, especially with a team that doesn't have all the experience because we lost so much. We really have to take this part of the season seriously, and I hope we do that.
Most talked about subject in those 3 games are going to be the backup quarterback position, as you talked about, Nick. And Matthew Caldwell right now seems to be the name right now that has the front. He's the front runner to win that spot, I should say. But I like Trey Owens, and I think the battle will go on for these 3 games. Right. But right now, I think Matthew Caldwell probably has the clear advantage.
And I think we'll get a look at both of them, those games.
Yeah,
I really
I agree.
do. I think we want to see what they got.
What are y'all looking to see? Like, to Oak's point, speaking about what's the most important thing that you will want to see from Texas in that specific stretch of games?
Probably, I would say probably just continuing to see how much depth we have, just because it's a long season now. They play so many games. It's college kids are really getting used to it. And the more depth you have, I'm telling you, man, you got to have some good luck here and there with the ball bouncing your way, but being able to have more depth, especially on defense, being able to roll some guys in there and keep them fresh. So when you do have these big games where we're about to come up, going to the Swamp and going to OU and doing all that, going to Georgia, man, you got these guys and we're firing them every cylinder. And man, you got to have depth. You got to be healthy, and the more players you play, the less chance of them getting hurt. So that's the big deal, getting through this without getting crazy hurt, because this is a crash course. This is football. It's a violent sport. We run into each other every day, and we love it. And if you run into each other 60 times, you run into somebody 40 times, it's just less chance you're getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me specifically, I just want us to come out, start fast, and put teams away early. I remember if you guys watched the show last year, a couple times Jay would come in saying, we just didn't look like ourselves. Like, we just didn't play a Texas brand of football. Well, this three-game stretch is for us to establish that Texas brand of football. Get experience starting fast. Get experience when you're playing a lesser opponent, putting them away at half. The last thing we want to see is these games get dragged out to the third, fourth quarter, and that's going to be nasty. So let's show up. Let's look like Texas.
I want Baumeister, the new punter, to have a couple of games off, but he don't have
He don't even got to go on the field.
He got to go out there, man. I want a couple of shots on board on the sideline, stretching. And when a couple of games where you don't have to punt. Sark has done it a few times, actually.
Yeah.
And usually against these types of opponents. So a 50 burger would be nice too. Absolutely. A little 50 burger up there would be pretty cool.
But you really gotta focus. Like Sark does a great job at making sure the guys are ready every week. Because I'm there at practice at times, and he says all the right things. It's their Super Bowl. Every time we play against somebody, Vanderbilt or whoever, San Diego, whoever it is, that's a lesser opponent. They coming in, they know if they can just hang in there, they kind of got that moral victory. So we got to be on our stuff each time. And Sark does a really good job at getting the guys ready.
Yeah, and we joke about special teams. I know it's what I care about the most, obviously. And I think we did gloss over it though. I really think that special teams are going to go from being a liability last year to being a strength of this team with apparently everything I've seen and heard out of Baumeister is he's going to be an insane punter that's going to actually be a weapon for us. And same thing with Mason Shipley, the kicker. He's apparently got an enormous leg. So I think that's going to shift. I am very curious to see what happens with our return game and who ends up being the returners for the squad, whether it's punt or kick. But all right, now it's time to get to the part of the season. I know the discourse is going to really start right here, and so I'm going to start.
What did he say?
So we had a show on tour where Alex Okafor was being legitimate and saying that there is a span in here where Texas will likely drop a game, and he's not wrong, because even Sark said in his press conference this year that the odds of teams going undefeated in this landscape of college football are very, very small. Like it's not likely to happen. And Oak was saying this is the prime part of the schedule where just can't look at your face.
Jay is mad because you quoted me accurately. He was thinking something else. That's why he was upset.
That's fair. He wants to turn it into something else.
You very political, sir.
That's my job.
What Oak said was,
here comes the lies.
Florida or OU. Oak said, and I quote, Florida or OU, pick one. That's what he said. It was something like that. No. That's what he said.
It was something like that.
It was something like he said that we were going to drop one to either Florida or OU.
He said this part of the schedule.
I said throughout this, I said this will be the toughest stretch of the season, considering the fact that teams don't go undefeated anymore. When was the last time Texas went undefeated? So your guess of 12-0, that's probably not going to happen.
No, it's specifically Oklahoma, Florida was what he's talking about.
I was getting to it.
I
was getting to it, Foz. Look, teams going undefeated doesn't happen anymore. We have a tough stretch of the season after the 3 games we just mentioned. We got Florida right after that in the Swamp, which I actually think we win, because we have a nice 3-game stretch. Get firing on all cylinders for that. We go into the Swamp, have a big win against Florida in the Swamp. The game after that is what I'm a little nervous about. Not that we can't beat Oklahoma. In a vacuum, I'm taking us over Oklahoma any day of the week. But after a big emotional win in the Swamp against a team like that, I could see that almost being a trap game. And that's crazy to say as a rivalry, but OU is going to show up and they're going to be better than last year. Not to mention Brett Venables is in the hottest seat in college football.
100%.
So I see a world where Texas might drop one against OU.
And I think Florida's going.
I'm not buying trap game.
That's why
y'all hear that? Buddhist man. Buddhist man. Buddhist man.
I do think made my day. This is like such a nice crowd, and you just turned it. He's like turning him against
I got to be realistic about our team sometimes. I know Texas fans, we want to go 12-0 every single year. We want to win a national championship every single year. In our program's history, we have 4 national championships. We have teams that have deserved to win natties, but we couldn't get it done. we have to be realistic about who we are in our program.
I think he's right, and I think Florida is going. I don't think Florida is going to be as good as people say they are, but I think Oklahoma is going to be better than what people say they are. And so it is a tough part of the schedule, and we're going to be coming off some softer games. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Off of what premise?
Thank you.
So, because I'm a little confused too. So, like, if we talking
Oklahoma
about
being better.
Yeah, like
well, their defense. They had a good defense last year. Their defense was good last year. This is a team that beat Alabama.
This is a team that lost to Navy.
Yeah, but they didn't have a quarterback, and they got a quarterback now.
They do, and their D-line
Possibly, as long as he doesn't get suspended for the season. But,
Yeah. There's a chance he won't be there because of his Venmo.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a gamble to bet on them.
This is the part that I'm just so confused about because don't get me wrong, Florida showed some flashes last year. I love that Georgia game. I hated that Lagway went out and that game hurt. I love that game, right? And then the Ole Miss game when they knocked him out the playoffs, that was another great game played by that outfit, right? But I'm just not sold that it's about to be this heart-racing thriller of a game in the swamp. I believe there's a world where there's a comfortable win in Florida, and then we're primed and ready to go for our rival.
And what's a comfortable
But that's a
win?
tough place
what
to play.
spread is a comfortable
It is a very tough place
Give
to
me
play.
10 to 14.
10 to 14 point
10 to
win.
14 point win.
Well, usually 10 to 14 point wins are a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. So,
You literally made that stat up.
I said usually.
I've never heard that in my life.
I mean, technically, why am I the only one defending okay?
Right. A 10 to 14. All I'm saying is when you win by 10 to 14, it's usually not that lead the whole game. Like that usually extends in the fourth.
Or the lead was large, and then the backups
they got
came in,
small.
and then they
That'd
scored
be
at
worse
the end
if
of the game.
that'd be a worst case scenario
That's
if you
fair.
ask me.
I'm gonna use that with my wife next time we have a fight, man. That sounds like a made up. You just made that stat up. You just made that stat up.
Is
Name
Ohio
your
State?
source.
Will Ohio State be better than Oklahoma this year? Like, if Ohio State and Oklahoma played, would Ohio State be better?
Yes.
Yes.
Can Texas beat Ohio State?
Texas can beat anybody.
Texas can beat anybody on their
So
schedule.
why are we hung up about Oklahoma and it being a trap game if Texas can beat Ohio State? And we just sat up here and said Ohio State is better than Oklahoma.
I think he's hung up on the stretch and saying they're
saying-
coming
yeah,
off.
yeah,
of
He's
yeah.
saying the
They-
Florida.
they don't
There's
listen
no
to my
way
comments.
Texas is not hyped for this
kinda
game.
said this.
Like, that can't
When
be a
has
trap
Texas
game.
not showed up? Like, I'm not gonna say we beat Oklahoma every single time, but when has Texas just not showed up ready to play Oklahoma?
I didn't say we wouldn't
I
be
don't wanna
ready
get
to
into
play.
that.
a trap game?
I just know OU's going to be ready to play us, and they'll be significantly better than they were last year.
I
You got to
agree with
take
that.
into
I agree
all
with
the
that.
variables into
I
account.
agree with that.
And we caked what last year, so we're gonna be pretty we're gonna be
You
pretty
can say,
confident. going into
man,
the game.
here we go.
But
So
let's-
Mississippi State also going to
Okay,
be
here we
better
go. How
than
about this?
last
Let's
year,
flip
too.
it.
Yeah.
You guys all said we'd go 11-1. Where does the loss come from, in your opinion?
And I told you,
Where?
between Ohio State and Georgia.
Georgia's
I don't
mine.
think
Two
we lose.
teams that
I don't
are
think we lose
actually
to
good.
Georgia 3 years in a row.
I don't
Is that
wanna
not
say mine, 'cause I'll
disappointing
get
to you
booed outta
guys?
here.
If we
I
lose
never
to
said it
Georgia,
wasn't
we're there,
disappointing,
I'm
but
going
I
there.
think it's more realistic losing to Georgia than it is
And I-
Oklahoma.
and I would
And
like
I
to-
don't
in
think
this
that because we
time
got a
right
bye
now.
week right before Georgia. I don't see us coming off a bye week losing to
I
Georgia
don't
3
see us-
years in a row.
I don't see us being in a trap game
I want to
against
add a
Oklahoma.
note in there. I want to add a note in there. You said you guys all said 11-1, sir. I said 12-0.
That is fair. That is accurate. That is accurate.
This guy.
Exactly.
No.
Well, let's move on to. I think we kind of covered OU a little bit. So let's DJ. What are your thoughts on this OU game? The level head.
Well, I mean, it's an easy game to get up for. I kind of get what you're saying. Not really, just because it's just no.
DJ attacks in his nice
That's-
way.
I know how the scenario goes. I get it, but it's OU, and it's easy to get up for. It's just.
Trap game was not the right word. I mean that
Okay,
OU
okay.
is going to
There
be
we go.
better than they look.
Gotcha.
on tape,
I
agree with
and
that.
They
Yeah.
will be
Fair.
ready to play.
I mean, it may
I
be a
agree.
slug,
Fair.
I agree with that.
back and
I think
forth.
OU's better this year.
I don't think we blow them out. I think it's going to be a dogfight. Absolutely.
But again, it'll be another great Red River rivalry. Yep.
Yeah,
All right. On to Kentucky.
it'll be better than it was last year.
True.
Let's just say that.
I agree with that. I mean, that's not
has to
hard.
be.
It's 30. Right.
I would say
There's
y'all.
no way it can't be.
I would say y'all are sleeping on OU's D line. It's one of the
I
best,
agree.
best
No,
D
it's-
lines in the
that's the
SEC.
truth.
It'll match up really well against an inexperienced Texas offensive
we haven't
line.
even talked
That's a
about that.
trenches game. It's all about. It's a line of scrimmage game. And John Mateer, man.
No, Mateer can
A
play.
lot of y'all have not
No,
watched
no.
film on John Mateer.
Bro,
John Mateer can ball.
Mateer can play. Now
he
look,
can
I
play.
will say
He
this.
gotta
I will
take
say
care of
this.
football.
I will
He
say
take care of
this. I
football,
will
but
say
he
this
can
about
ball.
John Mateer. Go back and cut that same tape on. Anytime there was a notable opponent, it wasn't the same John Mateer as it was playing an opponent that his team was better than.
I will say both my parents went to Washington State, so I've watched every single John Mateer game, and he's the real deal. But he didn't have a ton around him. But I do think that the issue for them is going to be him staying healthy because that guy looks for contact.
Yeah,
and I don't know if he'll be there by the time.
In the SEC, I forgot what conference they were, but the SEC that's not going to work out in his favor.
They're the old Pac-12.
That's not going. But I will just say this also, and I know we got to keep going. The last time Oklahoma played football, they lost to Navy. And I know I hate how we're acting like that game wasn't played.
It was last year, though.
The people y'all are talking about played in that game.
Didn't he beat Alabama?
Yeah, but they had a lot.
Football don't make sense sometimes.
No,
they got a fantastic running back coming in. Like, OU's going to be better. But
they are going to be better, and they also did lose to Navy.
That's true.
With a different team. Anyway,
Okay.
all right. Well, if we're going by that premise, then we're going to lose to Ohio State. So.
Oh no, we back for blood with that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. Anyway. All right. Week 7. Yeah. Seriously. Week 7. We're at Kentucky. Who wants to take this one?
Is it you or no? Is Rod?
Rod got us.
You're right.
With Mark Stoops?
Yeah.
Stoops. New quarterback.
Texas A&M head coach Zach Stoops.
I think Kentucky's going to struggle because for probably the third or fourth straight year, they're getting a new quarterback at the helm.
Yeah, it's been
and they've really struggled to get any kind of quarterback consistency as a program. Yeah. I know Mark Stoops just signed a deal not too long ago, but
was it with A&M or with Kentucky?
Exactly. I think it was right after that debacle.
Yeah.
So he does have a little bit of job security, but I think the program is growing stale for the most part. Now, last year, they actually did have some NFL caliber players, which is why they played with Texas for a little while. Deion Walker was a really good player on the D-line for them. Malik Harrison ended up being drafted really high for them as a defensive back. Maxwell, excuse me. I apologize. Maxwell Harrison was a really good player for them. So they don't have players like that right now defensively. One thing I like about their defense, though, go look at their corners. All their corners are tall, long, and rangy. They have at least a prototype they like at corner that could give Texas some issues because I think they want to play bump and run coverage and be aggressive. They got the corners and the DBs to be able to do it. But other than that, man, it's going to be tough for Kentucky to stay in the game with Texas considering they just don't have the players. They don't have the depth either.
All right. Well, let's keep it on the road. We're on the road for legitimately a month, and so we're going at Mississippi State next. Anybody want to take this one? Coming off a 2-10 season.
Stark Vegas, baby. Jeff Levy. Blake Shapen is the key to that outfit. He got injured. He's dang near been injured every season he's played, going back to his time at Baylor as the quarterback. Blake Shapen is a really good player. He's a little bit undersized, which probably aids in the fact that he can't necessarily stay as healthy as he wants to. But Jeff Levy in year 2, that offense is going to look better. Where their Achilles heel comes from and was the case last year was that defense.
The defense.
And last year they had Michael Van Buren as the quarterback who was actually really talented, transferred, is now the backup at LSU. So he got out of there, but Blake Shapen's return should shore up some of the inefficiencies that they had with a freshman starter a year ago. But that defense, they got too many rotating pieces. They don't have any continuity, new faces as far as the number of players that they've gotten in from the transfer portal. I don't see their defense holding up throughout the course of the entire season, let alone playing one of the top-ranked offenses as we perceive it to be with Arch Manning and Wingo and the likes of DJ Moore and every arsenal that Sark uses at his disposal. So I don't think that should be an issue. But for whatever reason, teams go to Stark Vegas and have problems. I don't know if it's the cowbells. I don't know what it is. But sometimes teams have an issue, at least with a slow start in Stark Vegas. So Texas has to eliminate that and get their system going. And by that time, they should be rolling on all cylinders offensively and defensively in Week 8.
He hit it right on the head with that one. What you always see with teams that go visit them, that you know this game is going to get out of hand, it always starts slow.
Yeah.
Every single person that goes there, it starts slow. I think they kind of like lure you to like this like sleep a little bit.
Hypnosis.
Yeah, it's tough the way they do it, but it's hard to win if you can't play defense. And this outfit just has not been able to play like fundamental defense. They don't fill gaps well. They don't tackle well. They don't cover well. It's pretty bad all the way around. So it's the only way from here is up. So we kind of see what we'll get out of them this year. But Yeah, that outfit. I mean, they were ranked towards the bottom of just about every statistical category in defense last year. So I'd be hard pressed to believe that we're just gonna see a 180-degree turnaround, and all of a sudden they playing unless they get the Space Jam juice.
Michael's secret stuff.
If they get Michael's secret stuff, then who knows? But other than that, it'll be.
Fozzy, real quick, what year is Van Buren, the one that transferred to?
He's a sophomore now. He was a true freshman.
He's a true freshman.
That could be interesting once Nussmeier leaves LSU. That could be.
And that'll probably be on our schedule.
That's something to look out for.
No question.
That's fair.
And
that's
the
a fair
additional
point.
game.
Yeah.
But Michael Van Buren is a problem.
Yeah, he can play ball, and he's gonna have a lot of players around him.
Right.
So.
Agreed. All right. Well, we finally come back home now to play the team that gave us a big fit last year. And I guess I'm going to give this one to Hills because he's already shaking his head. But give us your thoughts on Vanderbilt.
I just can't believe Diego Pavia is really out here.
He's my age, man.
Yeah. Diego
got another year.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
My guy working at the mechanic shop during the day, playing ball at night. Like, this guy is like, he really out here giving everybody problems. So I think it is different, though, when you riding that magic from a season versus people actually preparing for you. So I honestly, we'll see, right? This is either the season that Vanderbilt comes in and they take that step forward, or people kind of bring them back down to reality. I think the kind of overall feel or the narrative around them last year, everybody kind of went in there like they ain't gonna do that to us, and it's like, yes, we are. Yeah. So I think this year with teams like treating them with some real respect, which they've earned, I'll be interested to see how they perform. But with people like not just cutting on next week's tape and really diving into Vanderbilt. I don't see them coming in here and making this one nowhere near as competitive as it was last year. I see us kind of taking care of business there.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it was super close last year. I kind of golly, I was. Yeah. So this is an easy game for us to start to put some notes up and put the game on from last year, so we can have a little more motivation. But we're at home, so we should roll.
I do think Vanderbilt's legit. Like, I'm not gonna say. I do think Vanderbilt's legit. Like, I'm not just gonna say they're just gonna roll over and we're gonna stomp them. Like, obviously we got to come and play our brand of football. I mean, they got a pass catcher. Stowers, he's coming back. Pavia, we know what he is. But I'm with DJ. We're coming back home. I think we should handle business, and I would like to see us handle business. It'd be disappointing if this one drags way into the late game.
Yeah, we don't need this one to be a game, especially what's coming next on the schedule. So obviously we have a bye week next. We're at November 8th for the bye week, and then week 10 comes the trip to Athens, Georgia. And I have a feeling this one might
be a game.
We might need another second on this one. Let's see, DJ, give us your thoughts on this Georgia game, man.
Man, I'm excited about that. I'll be very excited about that. They beat us three times?
Two times.
Two times last year.
Felt like
Yeah, it definitely felt like three. We'll be ready to play. I think they're going to go into the game. I don't think they're as good as last year, obviously, but I think they're going to have some motivation and some confidence behind them, and we got to come in there and start fast. If not, then it's going to be a big-time game, and I think we will pull away late, but we got to go in there and fight and know that these guys, they kind of have our number, and we got plenty of sticky notes for them on motivation on how to get up for that game. So that's going to be an easy game to get up for, but we got to go there and come down there with a big stick and use it.
Let me add, too, this is, to Rod's point, where special teams becomes probably the most contributing factor to a win. Yeah. Because at the end of a drive, you always want to finish with a kick, right? That's what coaches always say. And whether that's an extra point, which we hope to see from a Texas perspective, or if it's a punt, with where the punter is this year and where we expect the defense to be this year, forcing teams to drive the length of the field, like Jeremy said, it just doesn't happen. And it may be one of those defensive types of showdowns, yet again, where field position is of the utmost importance to be able to create opportunities for the offense to work with short fields. So I think that'll be a game where that will need to be relied on, considering that it'll be away in Athens, and that crowd will be loud, rambunctious. It may take a little bit longer for the offense to find their footing, so you got to be able to utilize your special teams weapon at your disposal?
I agree with you. Unfortunately, if you look at the first team preseason selections for the SEC team,
It's all Georgia.
Georgia swept the special teams.
It's all Georgia.
They swept the special.
They
the
got a really
punter,
good special teams
kicker,
too.
a long snapper, returner. They're all Georgia picks. So that'll be one of those games where you just won't have a clear advantage. You won't have an advantage at special teams. You probably won't have necessarily a clear advantage defensively because Kirby Smart will have their defense ready to go. He'll have it loaded up with studs. He's been stockpiling blue chips on that defense for the last 7-8 years, man. So they got 5 stars who just been waiting their damn turn. Yep. I think ultimately this is the game where you're gonna need Arch to put the cape on. I mean, that's just one of those things. I need you to put the cape on at this point. You might have to go out there and be the Dark Knight, and that's okay because I think ultimately he has that ability. And I think Quinn was great. I love me some Quinn. And I think Quinn against Georgia, right? We saw him fall short against that team. It's going to take a superhuman effort, an extraordinary one at that position.
And it's at the end of the year, so his identity is going to be there. So we're going to know
gonna be
exactly
him.
who Arch is and what he can do, and confidence is going to be.
Yeah, championship game might be at stake at this point.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, I know I joke a lot and everything, but I don't think it's nothing funny about Georgia. I got more respect for them than anybody else that plays college football. That's just the truth. I think that they have been the gold standard of what it is to play college football at the highest level 100%. Every year, whether it's a championship on the end of it or not. I've not seen that level of consistency since Nick Saban's run. Georgia is the new Bama. That is the truth. I always say you want a championship. You want to know what it's like to win a championship. You got to beat Georgia. The close games, they find a way to pull it out. The games where they're not supposed to win, they find a way to end up on top. They show up every single week and they punch. They punch. They play with an attitude. They play with that. I mean, you always say like attitude reflects leadership, and you look at the leadership and you look at the attitude of that team, and year in and year out, they seem to have 22 guys that are upset about something. Like, that is the truth. Don't laugh, because I don't want to make no jokes about Georgia. Like, Georgia is legit. I'm not being facetious. Georgia is the standard. If you want to know, there's ways to get around Georgia and still win a championship. I'm glad it goes through them. Yeah. Like, I'm genuinely glad it goes through them because, like, for Texas to be what we know they can be, I forgot who was I listening to? Colin Cowherd the other day, and he talked about Texas being the new USC, is what he said. Yeah, for real. He said a lot of talent, super sexy, amazing city, got a rock star of a head coach, but what have they done?
LA's an amazing city.
But he said, but what have they done? And it kind of cut me a little bit because there was some truth there, right? But I look at Georgia and I'm saying, yeah, no, I get it, man. They lost a lot. But somehow, some way, that never seems to matter. It never seems to matter. The culture there is second to none. Even if they get all those speeding tickets, it doesn't matter. They show up ready to play football every single week. So I'm glad this one goes through Georgia. I can't wait to see who we are on that Saturday.
Yeah.
Like that's the truth.
Well, Jay said something interesting. He said that whether it goes through Georgia, that's the way it should go. But there is a path to a national championship going around Georgia. For me, I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't think there is a path around Georgia. I think you do have to go directly through them. And I think we will. The fact that we do have a bye week before this game, the fact that we've lost to them twice in a row, once with the backup quarterback in Stockton, which I like as a player, but I don't think he's an elite passer. I think he fits their brand of football in terms of physicality, taking care of the football, being mobile, stuff like that. But as a passer, I'm not too impressed with him. I think this is a statement game for us. I think enough is enough. The past 2 times in the playoffs, we've had enough to win championships. We have the past 2 years, but what was Texas missing? Texas was missing championship DNA. And championship DNA gets built through experience. It gets built through closing out games. We haven't done that. So in order for us to develop that championship DNA, we got to go into Georgia and we got to get it done. Now, it's going to be an uncomfortably close game because that's what Georgia is because of everything you guys stated, but we have to close and we have to get it done because it is the next step in terms of us developing that championship DNA moving forward.
That's great. All right. Well, moving on. We got Arkansas at home. Let's see.
That's gonna be a fun game.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Bring it back.
Actually, I mean, I like this game. I think we win, absolutely. And I love the game. I love the way we brought back the rivalry last year and the way the players responded to the rivalry.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys, they're super young. A lot of these guys, all of them are born past 2000, which is crazy to me. So,
And then, did you hear they brought Fozzy in to kind of educate them on the rivalry?
On the rivalry. Yeah.
Here we go.
From when
so
from all of his bouts with them in the early 60s.
Fozzy and Jay,
Here we go.
Fozzy had to give him the history on the Southwest Conference.
I've been saving this moment. First off,
Here we go.
All right, Nick. So you know how we went to the thrift store, keep it classic, right? They got the UT stuff, right? I go in there today. Actually, my daughter, she bought a jersey, but ironically, you see the jerseys that have like the Nike logo, right? The updated ones. And then you go back to kind of the Ricky Williams time frame, the Reebok jerseys. Y'all remember those? Then you start getting to the Earl Campbell style jerseys where they were more like oversized T-shirts. I don't know what they wore before that, but that was Jeremy's jersey. It was hanging next to Earl's in the thrift shop today. I was there today.
You should have picked that up.
Did you buy it?
It was too much money. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it. That's how old it was. You know how something is so old, it gains. It's an asset now in price. That's what happened.
Oh, can you tell us about Arkansas, please?
Let me.
We got to wrap this thing up. So come on.
No, let me.
Go ahead.
I can't even get back on track after that.
digress.
Anyways, I love this game. I think it's going to be a fun game. I like Arkansas's quarterback, Taylor Green.
He's great.
Like, I mean, he's an athlete, long, lanky, can sling it, is mobile as well.
Yeah.
Plus another year under Bobby Petrino's system. Like, I think he's going to come out here and play well and honestly play himself into the NFL draft, if I'm being honest.
Agree.
Like I said, I see us winning this game, but it will be a fun one. I think a lot of points will be scored, and it's going to be somewhat close. Fozzy, go ahead. Let me toss it to you.
Let me add. So Taylor Green obviously is a great quarterback. I got Arkansas next week, so I've already done a little bit of study into it. He should prepare to be able to take his game to the next level. The loss of Jaquindon Jackson is huge, though. He was a bell cow for them. Obviously, he was at Texas, then went to Utah, found his way into Arkansas and in a camp now. They got a guy by the name of Braylon Russell who is huge. Dude was a freshman last year, 250-pound running back, very physical, not fast, but very physical. But then they have another guy by the name of Rodney Hill. And if you want to see what Rodney Hill is about, throw on their game against Texas Tech in the bowl game, and this dude just only averaged 10 yards a carry and literally torched Texas Tech's defense. So if you're looking for a thunder and lightning type of punch and approach, they have that in those two guys. Bobby Petrino, year number 2, they should be accelerated on their offensive growth. Now, Sam Pittman, I would argue, is the hottest seat in the SEC, year number 6. Now, he ain't done nothing. I think whenever we go down or whenever they come to us, and play that game, if he is still the coach at that time, he's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at Texas. Like, trick plays, everything, left, right, up, down, it don't matter. Whenever you coaching for your job, sometimes you got to resort to different styles that you don't typically do. And we may see that late in the season as they try to save their own season, depending on how their season goes. So Cameron Ball, if you haven't heard of him, defensive tackle, number 5, stud. He is a baller. He probably finishes as an all-SEC pick. I don't know if he'll be first team or second team. He can play. They got a linebacker, number 10, also that is very good at playing. Outside of those two guys, they don't necessarily have the same amount of depth that Texas possesses. But like I said, sometimes when you're backed in a corner, you're going to call crazy stuff. Right. And that works one of two ways. You either luck up and get lucky, or you lose by 50.
Usually go the other way.
Right?
What
or
were they
you lose by a
thinking?
lot. So that's just a little unique perspective just because I've already been preparing for
the
them.
homework.
But just be ready for them to throw any type of trickeration and it being a rivalry game.
All right. So last game of the year.
Yeah.
This is a big one. Finally returning back, coming back to Austin. Texas versus Texas A&M, night game. Let's see who wants to take this one. Who's itching?
Listen,
here we go.
We're
going Hills and then Rod, and then we got to give our final predictions for the season, and then we're wrapping.
Don't give me any bulletin board material here, Hills.
Okay.
Mr. Bashville.
Exactly.
I'm going to say this. I'm glad little brother's coming home. We missed you. We ain't put you in the headlock and gave you a noogie in a while. It's been a while. Glad to see you. I'm glad you're going to come down here. You know, most of y'all are from around this area anyway, and we just didn't want you, so it just didn't work out.
I thought Ron just said don't give him any
sorry.
billboard material.
Cut that part out.
Y'all know he
Cut
old.
that part
He
out.
can't remember stuff.
I'll say this. I'm being honest. Marcel Reed, I want to see him improve as a passer. Yeah. All right. I like the kid's game. I like the potential of what his game can be. Mm-hmm. But A&M is going to live and die by how good this kid is this year. That's just the truth, right? Yeah. A&M is it's annoying to watch because they're just good enough. They're just good enough to keep it close. They're just good enough to almost win. They're just good enough to be exciting. They're just good enough to, and it never gets done. It never gets done. That is just the absolute truth, right? I'm being honest. That is the absolute truth. Now, KC Concepcion from North Carolina State. Yeah. That boy can play football. That boy can play. He's DJ Monroe fast, and he's a lot shiftier than what DJ was. That kid can play football. So it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate him in all parts of their offense this year. But ultimately, like I said, it's going to come down to what Marcel Reed does this year. Of course, I think we win this one. Now, how close it is versus not, it'll be interesting. A&M team, they typically play better at home than they do on the road, just historically. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that they're going to give us what they gave us last year in that sense. But this is the ultimate rivalry game. It's what makes households, split right down the middle year in and year out in the state of Texas. So that one should be fun. And, good luck to them. I honestly hope they have a good year leading up to that game. I'm being so serious. I hope they have a good year leading up to that game just so that we can say, hey, welcome home.
Rob, it would be great, actually, if the Aggies were, ranked really high and there was a lot on the line going into the game to turn this rivalry into a national rivalry again. That would be really cool. And they usually actually are doing pretty well, and they probably will be too if you look at their schedule going into November. Mm-hmm. Right. And then November things
picks up quick.
They Aggie it up all the time there.
Talking about me.
Yeah, that's just a true statement there, though. But I'll say this though: offensive line loaded. It may be, they're bragging, it may be the best offensive line they've had in years, and it may be one of the best in all the SEC. And by that time, aside from injuries, they should have a ton of chemistry and continuity together. And I was talking to Fozzy about this, so I know it's the real deal because Fozzy does a ton of research on it too. I think they might have the best running back core
100%.
in the SEC too, guys. It's loaded. I'll let Fozzy break down some of the specifics for you, but if you combine that with Marcel Reed's ability to run, all right, and you just said he has to become a more sophisticated passer. We all agree with that. But teams are going to be loading up the box to stop the run against this group with the O-line and the running back core they have. Tight end, actually, they brought in Texas. One of the Texas guys for a tight end position. But I think at the O-line and the running back room, that's going to be identity of the offense. And if Marcel Reed can take advantage of them loading the box up and giving you man-to-man coverage on the outside, especially with Concepcion. I mean, you don't want that guy in a man-to-man situation down the field. He can get over the top of you. I think they got some really nice elements to build on with this offense.
This game scares me a lot.
Yeah.
They'll be much more improved.
100%. And they gave us a run last year.
No,
they weren't that great last year, and they gave us a run.
We also gave them help.
We gave them a lot of help.
I agree.
Turnovers in the red zone.
All right, well, so we got to wrap this up. So
real quick, I just want to speak one time on the A&M. I'm kind of with Jay. It all depends on Marcel Reed. How good is he? The thing about A&M for us, it's a great matchup for us and not a good matchup for them. Their style of football doesn't really work against us.
Right.
If A&M can't stretch the field offensively, I think it's over before it starts. When you look at our D line, the past 2 years, we've been one of the best run defenses in the country the past 2 years, if not the best. We're talking about their running room. Well, let's look at our D tackles and our D line. Yep. If they can't stand in the pocket and stretch the field on us, it's going to be a long night for them.
I think the most successful running back last year against this defense was ETN, and he ended up finishing that game with like 70 or 80 or something like that. And that was like the best outing, the most consistent outing, as far as like keeping offense on schedule, playing in second and medium, staying on track. that we've seen from anybody else. So,
But I also think that's the one part of our defense is the middle that people are worried about, right? Like it's all new, and I think we got some good pieces coming in. But I think that's the one part. So that one does scare me.
I'd rather try to run against Texas than throw against Texas.
100%.
Like I don't want to be throwing with Colin Simmons and Trey Moore and Colton Vosick and Ethan Burke and Brad Spence just pinning their ears back. If you want to beat Texas, I think you're gonna have to run on them a little bit.
100%.
Oak always
score points.
Yeah.
That's what
I was
I'm
about
trying
to
to
say,
say.
yeah,
You got to
you
score
can't play it
points.
safe
And if we
forever,
look at our defense the past 2 years, you haven't been able to ground and pound our defense the past 2 years. So unless something significantly changes up the middle, it's just a bad matchup for A&M.
I would say significantly changes would mean you've put 2 D tackles into the NFL in each of the last 3 years. Yeah. You may just be running out.
maybe
Or
not.
maybe reload.
Or not.
Maybe reload because it's happened 3 times.
I was nervous about it last year, and Billy Norton showed up to the plate. So I'm expecting Travis Shaw, Cole Brevard, all these guys to step up. Yeah,
Murad Watson.
I would say but those were guys who I would say those guys who went to the league were guys you had in the system.
True. Right.
Yeah. They had been in the system. They were not guys you brought in via the transfer portal. So you're out of those guys for now.
Well, and
Those
hopefully
guys
by
now-
that point, these guys will have settled in and beat.
That's the hope.
And I'll just say we've done pretty well in the portal.
Huh? They have done well in the portal. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with. I'm just saying if you're going to beat Texas, you ain't going to do it just by dropping back passing on them all the time. That's going to be tough to do against that pass rush.
All right. Well, we're going to get to some questions too, but before we get out of here, I want to go around. Oak, I'm going to start with you. I need your prediction. And if you have a loss in your prediction, you have to state what it is. I'm gonna hone up to it too.
You gotta say it.
Oak, you go first. I'm gonna get booed out of here. So go ahead.
This is easily the worst part of the show because
because we're gonna clip this.
It's way too early to be making predictions. Like I don't know what we're gonna look like. Like I need to see this first game of the season. I'm excited about this team.
Are you declining a prediction?
No. We're preseason prediction.
Preseason
prediction.
He
deferred.
I would like to defer.
You can change during the year, but like let's go with. Come on.
As of August 24th, 2025.
That part out.
I got us 620. I got us going 10-2. I think we drop Ohio State at the beginning of the game or beginning of the season. And like I said, between Florida and Oklahoma, most likely Oklahoma, I got that as the second loss. I think we go 10-2, but I still think we make it to the playoffs because that would be only one loss in the SEC. That puts us in the playoffs. And as long as we're playing our best ball by the end of the season, all of our goals are still in front of us. But it is going to be a little shaky.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, being able to develop throughout the year, stay healthy, and get better. I would say 11-1. I would say Ohio State and Georgia. I don't know which one, but 11-1. It's early, of course, but yeah, 11-1.
Rob B.
I'm 11-1 too. Lost at Georgia. I know that's gonna upset all y'all. Sark still ain't figured out Kirby Smart yet, and I think it's gonna take him another opportunity to do it.
I have a hard time believing we're gonna win a championship if we lose to Georgia.
Who said you're gonna win a championship?
Ooh.
Exactly.
I'm looking at Hill's hat, and we got one.
Jay got us going 12-0. Jay got us going 12-0.
Even Sark said we ain't going 12-0.
All right, Foz.
Probability is not. Sark would love to go 12-0, though, just so y'all know. He's sprinkling Debbie Downer over here.
No, he's
He's
hedging.
11-1 of a Debbie Downer.
I said it already. It'll either be Ohio State, Georgia. If I had to pick one, I'm not going to skate like DJ did. I'm going to go Ohio State just because the unknown. Then they run the table after that.
All right, Hills.
Now, I'll be honest.
This is going to be quick.
I'll be honest. After doing this show with y'all today, and listening to like all of the additional points, I'm like, man, they got good points. Especially going on the road to Georgia. I've been to Athens and watched games out there when we were recruiting DeAndre Swift. Like that place is nuts. That place is nuts. Great atmosphere, and I still think that's the gold standard in college ball today. Rivalry games are tough. You know what I mean? So the OU game at a neutral site is always going to be a tough one. I understand the Swamp is tough. It's a lot of opportunities to drop one, and it's so hard. As you think these kids are 18 to 22 years old, it's so hard to stay focused and locked in at a high level week in and week out and win every single time you walk out there. For that reason, I'm thinking we go 12-0.
We knew it.
We're going 12-0. Sark's going to keep these guys focused, locked in. We're going to see a Texas brand of football from Ohio State on August 30th all the way up to Thanksgiving. We're going to eat some turkey as we're watching little brothers go right down to College Station. And we're preparing for the SEC championship.
Man, that's BS. I have to follow this.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Man.
Okay?
Okay.
Right.
I hope you're right. All of us hope you're right.
Yeah,
okay?
no hope. Ain't no hope. We're earning it every Saturday.
Here's where I'm at, and I've looked at this over and over again, and I lean more towards the 10-2, but I do think we can get out of this season at 11-1, and what gives me confidence is we have one of the best road coaches in the game.
Yeah,
like
100%.
he gets this team up for every crazy atmosphere. Like, and so I feel good about Ohio State. I feel good going in there. I'm like, that doesn't scare me as much. Georgia doesn't scare me as much. I'll tell you what scares me is us at home. Wow. Like we tend to start slow at home. We don't look like ourselves. Look at Georgia, right? Look at Wyoming. Look at these games. Like, we don't come out firing. And you do that against the team, and if you look at our schedule, there's only one team on that scares me if we start slow, and it's A&M. And I do think we're primed at that point in the season where it could be, and I think it could be a blessing. So I know it's not going to be popular. I know I'm going to get murdered for this.
You think Marcel Reed is going to come in
I
here?
don't think it's Marcel Reed. I think it's exactly
nasty.
what we talked about with the offensive line, with the running game. And I could change my mind by then.
No.
Yeah, boo this man.
We knew it was coming. I'm just being a realist. Look, I looked at it. I analyzed it. That's what I'm here to do. So anyways, all right. That's been fun. Let's forget that part happened. I'm going to cut. I get to edit this, so I get to cut that out. But and Nick didn't do a prediction for this. But before we get out of here, we're going to do some questions. But I do want to thank Kat, Larry, and the great folks at Korman. Like, this place is ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna have them kind of redo my house as well. I think their budget may be a little different than mine, but this is phenomenal.
Italian.
Yeah, it's incredible. I will say I'm not a huge jewelry person, but you're about to see Fifth Ward Nick come out. I'm gonna start,
come on, Fifth Ward Nick.
I'm gonna start
They don't know
forgetting
about
people's
Fifth Ward
names.
Nick.
I'm gonna start-
baby.
yeah, anyway. But also thank you to the staff. Like, they came in on their day off to do this. This is phenomenal. It's been incredible.